and welcome to another episode of Learning Photoshop. Now in this video we're going to look at how to master the crop tool. Specifically we're going to look at three different things. Firstly, we'll be looking at how to use the crop tool totally non-destructively. Very cool. Now this means we can always get back to our original image. Then I'm going to look at how we can use and customize the crop overlays. I think you'll find these really useful. And finally, how we can crop to different aspect ratios. Okay, well let's make a start. Well, first we need to select the crop tool, and we can do that a couple of different ways. We can either select it from the toolbox here, and here it is, it's the crop tool, and we can click on it, or we've got a keyboard shortcut, we can press C on the keyboard. Now before we begin to crop the image, let's just look up here in the tool options bar at the top, and we'll see with a little box here called delete crop pixels. Now if that has a tick in it, what will happen is when you do crop, the pixels that you are cropping away are history, they are gone forever. So I don't like that, so I always have that unticked. And what that means is that the pixels will not be thrown away. I'll be cropping totally non-destructively. So at any time I can change my mind and get back to my original image. Okay, so let's crop this image. If you look round over the edges here, you can see that we've got some little symbols. And these are your crop marks. And you've got them in the corners as well. And if you hover over them, you'll see that the cursor changes, that to a little up and down the arrow, and on this one to like a 45 degrees arrow. And what I can do, I can click and drag to recrop the image, and what I'm doing now is a freeform crop. So I can drag from any corner, or I can drag from the sides to make a crop the size that I think works. And I can experiment with different compositions. But when I do crop, I know that I'm safe because my delete crop pixels, little checkbox at the top, has no check in it, so I'll always be able to get back to my original image. Now once we're happy with our composition, we want to apply the crop, and we can do that three different ways. One is to go up here to and click the tick in the tool options bar. Another one is my favourite, is to just double click inside the crop. And the third one is to press enter on Windows or the return key on the keyboard if you're on a Mac. Okay, I'm just going to double click inside to accept that crop. Yep, and I'm happy with that. But let's say it isn't what I want. Well, no problem. All I've got to do is make sure that my crop tool's active still, and click inside the image, and back comes my crop. And then all I do is just readjust it to suit the composition that I want. Now one of the things you might have noticed is that as you click in the crop, these overlay lines appear and they show up on top of the image. Now these are guides which are there to try and help us to find a better composition. Now we can change these overlay graphics by going up to this icon here. If we click on that, we can see down we've got three options here. We can auto show the overlay, and what happens here is it only shows up then when you actually click on the crop to do something with it. Or we can have it always show the overlay, which is my preference. I like them to be there. Or you can set it to never, but well, I'll just set it to my preference of always show the overlays. Now you can change the appearance of the overlays by clicking through these options at the top. Here you can see we've got rule of thirds, which is showing at the moment. We've got a grid, and we've got a diagonal. Now there's a handy little keyboard shortcut for doing this, which is the O key. So if I press the O key, it will cycle through all these different overlays for me until I find one that probably suits me better on the composition that I want to do. Okay, finally we've got aspect ratio. Let's take a look at how we can crop to a specific aspect ratio. Well, up here in the options bar we've got the ratio drop down. And if I click on that, you can see that we've got several options here. If I want to crop to, say, the original ratio of the image, then I select that one. And then it will only let me crop to that ratio. It won't let me change it. But let's say for instance I wanted to put this on maybe Instagram. Then I've got a 1:1, a square ratio. And if I click on that, I can then drag the image within that crop boundary and get that into the position that I think is what I require, and then double click to accept that crop. Okay, well that's it for the basics of the crop tool. We've looked at non-destructive cropping, how to use the crop overlays to help us with our composition, and finally how to crop to a specific aspect ratio. I hope that was useful. If it was, give me a thumbs up or leave me a comment below the video. If there are any specific topics you'd like to know more about, please leave me a comment and I will try my very best to help you out with the video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you get a minute for more videos on Photoshop and on Lightroom. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.